Right, welcome back to Hope at Dawn, right here at Hope TV, where you look and live. And we promised you that once we are back, we'll be looking at what is being reported in today's dailies, starting with the Standard. And the Standard, they are reporting trouble in education. That is the headline. Trouble in education. Schools reopen today while facing numerous difficulties. This is mainly inadequate funding, crowding, insufficient number of teachers, and weary staff mulling a strike over litany of grievances. Will the Ministry of Education step up to the challenge? That is the question they are asking, and that is a story you can get on pages 4 and 5 inside the daily, or rather the Standard. And I see the economic situation we are in is quite bad for both parents and schools, but parents must pay fees and thus should get into an arrangement to ensure that happens. That is according to Kahi Indimuli. And heading to page 4 and 5, as the schools are reopening today under a cloud of financial strain, potential teacher strike, extra levies, heavy rains witnessed in parts of the country spell a shaky start for the academic calendar. The National Parents Association wants the government to save parents from paying unsanctioned levies. You can read that on page 4 and also extended on page 5 inside the Standard. So I see inside Ruto's visa-free travel plan changes, the Immigration Department has received 9,787 applications for the new electronic travel authorization and approved 4,046. It's a story you can get on page 8 inside the Standard. Immigration PSA's 9,787 applications received through the electronic travel authorization. Visitors to pay a minimum of 4,680 shillings processing fee for a 90-day stay. This is down from 7,800 shillings. Still on page 8, I will not be stopped, warns Ruto as allies rail against the judiciary. President William Ruto has urged for collaboration between different arms of government, stressing that unity is crucial for national progress. Speaking during a Sunday service at AIC Sugutek in Soi, Uasin Gishu, Ruto said the judiciary, legislature and the executive should avoid unnecessary competition. It's an interesting take there from the president, and we hope that they can forge that collaboration instead of trying to attack one another. Right. I also see reason for optimism in the tourism sector. That is covered on page 20 inside the Standard, because they are talking about optimism within the tourism sector. Rosy outlook for coast tourism as airlines ships up activities. They're saying between January and March this year, 4 cruise ships will call at the port of Mombasa. Stakeholders say the move signals the key port's popularity as a cruise destination of choice. Still on business pages, Equity merges its Rwandan subsidiaries. Equity Group Holdings has announced the merger of company General de Bangi and Equity Bank Rwanda effective December 31st, 2023. So CBK launches e-system for interbank market. CBK has announced the launch of Bloomberg's B-Match solution for interbank trading in the local foreign exchange market. You can get that on page 20. And then I see NHIF scandal report, a ruse to kill insurer, say stakeholders. You can get that on page 6. Then I see stars to watch at African Nations Cup. That is on page 29. You know, it's about to kick off the Africa Cup of Nations. And I advise you to learn a thing or two in terms of African football, because for the next one full month, from the 13th of January to the 11th of February, you will be telling us more about African football. So who are the stars to watch?
Yeah.
They have listed some of the stars to watch. Salah, Mane, Osimhen and other players expected to shine in Ivory Coast. The Continental Showpiece kicks off on Saturday, and we are having some of the big names to look forward to, and you can read them and read more on page 29 inside the Standard. I also see back page, Leopards fans have reason to celebrate again. New Year blessings for Ingwe faithful as Leopards find its close in win over Ulinzi Stars. I also see Shujaa ready for Dubai assignment. Mwamba's Brian Mutugi set for his second appearance in Shujaa colours after being named in the 12-man squad for the opening round of the World Rugby HSBC Challenger 2024, which is set for January 12th to the 14th in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
All
That's
right.
it's being reported in the Standard.
On the Standard.
Yep.
Beautiful, amazing. Okay, let me cross over to the Daily Nation, and I see a very devastating story. I think this story has been trending on TikTok, on literally everywhere.
Yeah.
About this socialite that was murdered in South B, which is really unfortunate. But as I can see here, it says that police have recorded a new complaint against main suspect in City socialite's murder. And I was just going through it, and I realized that this particular guy who was in the picture, who is also a suspect, has had so many cases of doing this to women, whereby he would force them to give him money, you know, in the form of a relationship or something of the sort. Because apparently they met online in the online dating app. So I think it's really important for people to be careful, even when it comes to these dating apps. And you know, we were having a conversation with my sister the other day, and the statement that we were, you know, just saying to one another, it's important for our youth to know God, because I feel like most of the time we remove the covering that is on our lives just because we are not walking with God. We are not abiding under his shadow. So we become exposed to what the devil is doing, and he comes to steal, kill and destroy. So I think this is a wake-up call for most people. Like we have to really be with God, because that protects us from so many things that are happening. It is sorry, Henry, our our head is calling me this time.
She's live on air.
And it's our boss. I'm wondering, you know, but anyway.
He wants to confirm.
Yeah, that my phone is silent. But anyway, moving on, I see in other news. Cash crunch as schools reopen. There is a very big headache even when we are looking at, we have just a few days. I think on the 15th, most students will be going to school, the Form 1s. And I see head teachers of public institutions are a worried lot today as learning resumes after a 2-month break, because the money that was disbursed by the government last week is yet to hit their accounts. So that is happening. And you can get more information on that on page 6 and 7. And on other very sad news, also police seize a 7th suspect in murder of Meru blogger, something else that we've been seeing trending. So detectives yesterday arrested another suspect in connection with the murder of Meru blogger and political activist Daniel Muthiani alias Sniper. So you can also get that news in more detail. That is on page 3. And someone turned 79 years. We have Raila, who turned 79 years. And I saw this post that was saying that the cake cutting was symbolizing cutting of the prices and the taxes. To reduce the taxes that are being ambazo sasa wananchi wanateseka nazo. So the cake cutting was cut cost of living.
For Baba, he was marking the celebrations in Malindi, but there was symbolic celebrations across everywhere. Yeah, but it was sad also what happened in Nairobi. Some had converged to celebrate, and then police decided, you know what, hamuna kinywaji, so they threw tear gas canisters. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, uncalled for.
Yeah,
people celebrate. Ni birthday.
Wewe
ukiwa na yako pia tuitie. Ukiwa wewe ni polisi, unataka tukucelebrate, tutakuja.
Gigi said.
Umeniruka. Yeah.
Petero kiesi. But anyway, I see Ruto dials down attacks on courts, urges collaboration. So DP Rigathi Gachagua, however, step up the vitriol, saying corrupt judicial officers must be held to account. Quite an interesting story that is on page 4 of the Daily Nation. And I also see, of course, we have schools facing prospects of term 1 with empty coffers. Their claims have been contradicted by Education CS Ezekiel Machogu, who insists that the funds have already been disbursed. So it's quite a debate there. And the story, you can find it in detail on page 7. And I also see 1,000 bright but needy students earn Wings to Fly scholarship. Yeah. Quite a good story right there. And we have 60,000. That is the students who have benefited from Equity Group Foundation Wings to Fly program so far. I think even in our days, we used to ask ourselves, what do you do to qualify? But it's a good thing to see that wale ambao wamepita, lakini unakuta, you know, the situations in which they are in, they're not able to afford.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. That's good news. That's quite a good number. And I see law allowing graft convicts to hold public office rejected. Stakeholders say the bill sponsored by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma was counterproductive. A story that you can find on page 10. And maybe I can just go quickly to the sports page. I see 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. That is Ghana boasts third most successful record. So Ghana veteran IUI's AFCON goal scoring record. 34-year-old forward on track to become first player to score in 7 editions of AFCON. That's on the sports page. And more on the sports page, I also see Eliud Owalo Super Cup could benefit Gor's recruitment push. I see, as far as I can remember, the Luo Nyanza region has failed to organize such tournaments at this time of the year in the past. This is Cecil Odongo, the Kogalo Corner. You can check that out on page 35. And finally, I see struggling Z-Tech will be very active in the transfer window. And also Homa Bay County wants venue selected to stage 2027 AFCON fixtures. That's on the sports facilities. And football crowd trouble exposes Raila Odinga stadium defect. That's also on page 34. People struggle to exit venue as Shabana Muhoroni fans clash in FKF PL fixture, story that you can find on page 34. So that's basically what we have on the Daily Nation.
Right, Business Daily, quickly. Kenya's Africa trade surplus hits new high of 121 billion shillings. Export earnings jump to 324.79 billion shillings in 9 months. First drop in imports expenditure since COVID peak. Read that front page and also page 2. I also see SGR January loan payments up 14 billion shillings on weak shilling. So Kenya's January payment towards the SGR loans from China have appreciated by 14 billion on account of a weaker shilling that has inflated external debt and its service costs. Page 5, I see motorcycle imports drop 77% on higher prices, fueling costs. That is on page 5. And Kenya, 4th largest borrower of World Bank low interest loans. You can read that on page 5 inside the Business Daily. And that is what is being captured in the dailies. And you can grab your favorite copy so that you get to read what is being reported, get to know what's happening in our nation, and also as believers, you get to know how to pray for the nation.
That's for sure. And I think one prayer item that we need to remember, let's pray for this generation.
Let's
pray for our youth. I believe the devil is out to get them, but I know that with prayer and helping them where we can, spreading the gospel where we can definitely get a big lot on the side of the gospel. And I see time is far much spent, but we need to be crossing over to the low logs so that we can have a conversation on land ownership. And maybe the advocate can also tell us which is more, you know, ni kitu gani inafaa kuja mbele. Maybe he can also tell us so that he can advise many of you who are wondering, is it a cow, is it a land? Should I build or should I buy an apartment? Also, there's that whole conversation.
Should I go for holiday? As I think. Should I buy a car first or build? Or niende tu holiday so that niweze kujua.
Utumie hiyo pesa, kirie. Wow. Wow. I don't know what happened over the festivities, but Gigi, we need Gigi back. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's just take a short break right
Yep.
now, and then when we get back, we'll be doing the Lologs.